All right, we'll get you to stab him out and we'll CG in a knife, and they don't CG in a knife and they just keep, what is he doing there? And it's like he got blocked, but there was nothing in your hand, mate. And now he's what, slapping him. What are you doing?
Shadowverse.
Greetings, I'm Shad, and welcome back to this battle scene autopsy, because we're actually looking at a battle. Not the first time, we did have a look at the battle scenes from Mulan as a fight scene autopsy, but this one, we're looking at the battles and other combative elements from Rings of Power episode 6? I think it's 6. They all blur together. It's just because it's all crap. Anyway, okay, yeah, there are things that we need to talk about, okay? And what we do here on Fight Scene Autopsy, we have a look at the combat in films, television, all that stuff for how authentic, how realistic it is, because that increases immersion. And I know sometimes you might want to step over the line of practicality a little bit for the cool factor, but then there's stepping over the line and then leaping off a cliff. And we also do this for fun because we love breaking it down just because it's nitpicky and, you know, as also educational. We're an educational channel here. So yes, we are going to get into it. Rings of Power episode 6. But if you're wanting to see something that's actually a good media, well, you can check out my graphic novel, which you can get over on Indiegogo. If you like comic books, you're going to love my graphic novel. And if you've never tried graphic novels before, this is a great entry point because, look, I pulled out all the stops. We've got some of the best art that you can buy. Mike S. Miller, he's an industry veteran. And I was reading the other day, and I know it's my own work, but I just got pulled in and I found it so immersive. Graphic novels are brilliant because a picture really is worth 1,000 words. If you haven't tried one before, give my graphic novel a go. In fact, we're selling the hardcover at the cost of a softcover, so it's a brilliant deal, and I really feel you're gonna love the story. What's the story? Well, Michael Kramer says it best.
The tale of a deposed, tyrannical emperor who embarks on a journey towards redemption. The 82-year-old Dalen, once known as Dalus the Conqueror, is cursed, becoming a youth, and obtains the mythical powers of the legendary Arch-Knights. Battling inner demons, his violent and cruel inclinations, and enemies both old and new, he ventures onward trying to fight back the growing darkness threatening the world. After all, who better to hunt monsters than the greatest monster the world has ever known?
There are collector covers, and if you really want something special, we're also doing leatherbound. Not only leatherbound for the graphic novel, but the novel that it's based on, well, I'm releasing the second edition version of it, and you can get that in collector covers as well as leatherbound as well. Something really special. I love leatherbound so much. So those are available for a short time. Make sure you get your copy, because we can absolutely have great stories, awesome heroes again, even when there are such bad stories and media being made. Well, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to give us some great stories once again, and if we can push this Indiegogo campaign as far as possible, I'm going to be reinvesting it to just make more. So do share it with your friends, support it if you can. Thank you to everyone who has, and I can't wait to get you your copy. Okay, Rings of Power, the first kind of combat thing, because we're going to be looking at tactics, okay? The tactics of the battle begins when Adar and his orcs have arrived at the tower. If you haven't seen Rings of Power, congratulations, you have saved yourself from a lot of pain. Look, if you're wanting to see a detailed breakdown, I've done full reviews on Night's Watch. This is just the combat battle tactics in this episode, so I'm not going to be addressing too much of the plot, except for when it's related to the combat and tactics, which we're doing here, because Adar has arrived at this tower, and these people, the humans, that the orcs have been attacking, have escaped to an elven fortified tower for protection. Good idea. Wasn't very, defensible in your village. And Adar is hell-bent on not necessarily even wiping them out. They have something that he needs. And they've arrived at the tower, and oddly enough, it's completely open. I was like, okay. So this is Adar just kind of walking in to the fortified tower, uncontested, unchallenged. And I was wondering, why would they do this, okay? They're not actually thinking of trying to lure them into the bailey and then shoot them while they're... So the bailey is the open kind of courtyard of a castle that's within the castle walls. And I was thinking, they're not honestly thinking that by luring them into the Bailey, that puts them in the orcs, the enemy, in a more vulnerable position and that attack them there, because that is unbelievably dumb. You've just let them pass through one of the most important and effective elements of defense, which is the primary outer wall, and the bridge that leads everyone to the tower, which bottlenecks and funnels their numbers, and it effectively reduces the attacking forces' numbers by having such a bottleneck. And if they're going to shoot anyone, just shoot them when they're on the bottleneck on the bridge from the defensive walls, because the walls have crenellations and cover and everything. And so, no, they really couldn't be that dumb, could they? Yes. Oh, yes, they could. So the orcs there are just looking around the tower, wondering, well, where is everyone? And we see Discount Legolas is waiting there. But he's like the only one here. Okay, what is his plan? Adar notices something here. This is important because it's part of the plot, but it's related to his overall battle strategy. And I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments below. His expression is a look of kind of discovery and surprise. Would you not think so? Like, he has just noticed something that is significant. This mural right here. This is really important because what this thing does is actually part of Adar's master plan. Yet, the show really seems to demonstrate this is his first time discovering this mural thing is even here. It's like he wasn't even aware of it. He was just coming to the tower to get the sword hilts, right? That's the item he needs. And he serendipitously, I probably mispronounced that, saw this. And it's like, whoa. And it's crucial to his plan. And so if he didn't see it there, what was his plan once he gets the sword hilt? Because it really seemed like he didn't know that this is actually the keyhole for the sword hilt. Because look, you see the sword right there? It's like the mural is basically telling everyone, if you find this sword thing, it's pointed down. And like later on we see there's a key slot in the ground. Mural is telling everyone, this thing here goes in that thing down there. And so letting Adar into the tower to see the mural is really, really bad. And the thing is, Discount Legolas is the one that actually pulled down, it was covered, in like vines and things. He pulled down and opened it up. And he even said that the sword was a key. How did he know? No clue, but the sword's a key somehow. And what, you didn't notice the very kind of conspicuous sword-sized keyhole thing on the ground? And you said the sword's a key? And you're letting Adar in to see the mural, what the sword does? Oh, come on. And so, yes, they actually could have just given Adar the sword hilt and say, all right, we'll give this if you just leave us alone. And then he'll be like, oh, thank you, I got it. Now I just need to figure out where it goes. Where could it go? And he'd be stumped. Because, again, it's like he just notices it. Look, it dwells on this mural a lot, and then it cuts back to Adar, and he's like basically, oh, I see. That's a look of realization, not aha, I got the thing that I was after that I needed. This is total like, oh, which means his plan is utterly stupid because he's after the key that he doesn't even know where it went. See, right here, this orc basically says, we can't find him because they're after the person that has the sword hilt. Okay, something special right now. Discount Legolas is about to appear from behind the crenellations just over yonder, right? And this is amazing because it turns out that we discover his intention is to actually shoot a rope. And what that leads to, oh boy, I have lots to say. But okay, his intention was to shoot a rope on the tower. If that's the case, what is he doing now? And there's a couple of big problems as well. Because, okay, you've lured the orcs in. Perhaps this could have been a workable strategy if they did one thing. It's like, all right, because, it seems like Adar was walking at the front of the group anyway. And so what I'm saying is he basically has a free shot to shoot Adar right here. And I'm wondering if they could have had that free shot by not letting him into the Bailey, because Adar was just walking up in front of everyone anyway. And they didn't know that the tower was open when they first approached. And so Adar is so dumb that he seems to like, yeah, I'll just, walk and we'll go into Arrow. They didn't know the tower was, abandoned, and they all walked up and, now we realize the door's open. Yeah, what if there was people behind the crenellations ready to shoot you? So they could have, done that and not let him in, but now they have let him in. Seems like they're in a false sense of security. And this guy is an insanely good shot. So why are you not shooting Adar right now? He's right there, vulnerable. But no, instead he decides to shoot a random orc, and then why is he doing this anyway? Because it reveals his position and it doesn't achieve what he wants, which is to shoot the rope on the tower. If anything, what he does here, he just appears and now shoots, makes it possible that, what if an orc had a bow ready and just sees him and takes a shot back and kills him, right? Good plan. He should have just waited for the right time when no one was looking and shot direct. Look at that, he's a good aim. Just shoot it up. But anyway, if he's just shot straight for the tower, and then he decides to do a couple more shots, revealing his position, and now, look, again, Adar was standing just over there. Actually, you can see Adar's behind my head. Look, he's right here. He's right here. Shoot him. What are you doing? But instead, he shoots a random orc over there, still revealing his position, and he decides to, fire arrow time, and then he shoots the tower, and this is just unbelievable. He shoots a rope at the tower, and if you're watching this, you'll be thinking, huh? I'm not kidding, okay? This entire tower, see this big tower made of stone, is being held up by ropes and sticks, okay? It's like a scaffolding thing that's holding together, and this is crazy because we're given no context in the show that the villagers took out some key, stones in the foundation, they dug underneath it, sapped the foundations even, or anything like that. In fact, these scaffolding things have been on the tower from the get-go, which implies the opposite. This tower was built to fall if it didn't have these scaffoldings, and it's thousands of years old. Are you kidding me? What type of retarded architectural theory is that? It's unbelievable, because look what happens. Again, pinpoint precision at distance. So he could have nailed Adar right in an eyeball, right? It quickly, burns through that rope, which is convenient. And then everything, it just breaks apart. The scaffolding all breaks off from one rope. I mean, rope, it rots, especially when it's exposed to the elements after several. What if it just, randomly broke 400 years ago, because this thing is thousands of years, and people on the town just falls apart like that? It's bafflingly dumb. And the other dumb thing is, even without this scaffolding, it's solid, stable stone. It shouldn't just fall apart like this. So, Discount Legolas, he jumps down and does something amazing, because we get to see the tower fall, but it doesn't fall yet. And this is all there is so much stupid in the combat and battle strategy of this episode. This is why I'm doing an autopsy, because it deserves it. This is amazingly bad. And people are saying this is the best episode ever. To me, this is the worst, because it is bafflingly stupid on multiple levels. He kicks, so look how big this block of stone is, okay? That is a big, heavy bit of rock. Just look, if I tried to lift this thing, I'd be like, and so you tell me, why? No, you'd break your foot trying to kick this thing. But of course, is amazing. He just boots it off like it's made out of foam, which most likely it was, okay? And it's tied to a log. And this was their plan, to shut the door. You know what you could also do to shut the door? Close it and put a thing on top from the outside. By closing it this way, all they have to do is unhook the chain from the log, move it, and they can get out easy. If they didn't notice this, it's like they walk in through this door and they don't see, there's a very conspicuous chain attached to this beam of wood. And they go, and that's conspicuously attached to a stone. If they didn't notice that, all right, they're not going to notice a beam of wood leaning on the door from the outside that he can use, pull, and lock down on it, which would have been a lot easier and made a lot more sense, because the points of failure on this plan is incredible. What if the chain slid up a little bit from the log, so when it falls, instead of being pulled perfectly flat, the chain is offset and it slides like this and then pulls forward straight, which means it will just slide through the door and not shut. Because this is what happens, ready? It lands perfectly flat, which is unbelievable luck. And then it hits both doors on either side, and then shuts the door from the weight. And by the way, we saw the door shut. If we go back, do you see this door? That's basically shut now, okay? Half a second now, it should be completely closed, but then they cut to, discount Legolas here, and now it's wide open, enough for him to get several shots off, just kill a couple, and now it's closed. So they get the timing wrong. And speaking about getting timing wrong, okay, because we already saw all the scaffolding fall off the tower. And orcs, just disconnect the chain or just grab it, pull it, I'm sure, we saw how easy it was to kick the stone off the thing, so it mustn't be that heavy, and then you just pull it back and open the door. But no, they're complete morons, and it's like, now we just can't open this door, even though we clearly saw what's shut and what's keeping it shut. This is why, if you actually had a beam of wood planked on the outside to close it, makes so much more sense. And it's not hard to think of this. It's pretty basic. They've gone out of their way to do something more stupid. Why? The answer is because they think it looks cool. But if that's the other problem. They think something as dumb as this is cool? Oh no. Look at the tower over there. Suddenly it has all the scaffolding and ropes back on it, even though we saw it all fall off. And then we get to see it all fall off again. It's like, do you know what you're showing us? You time travel warping, we're in a new dimension or something. What the hell is going on? And then all the scaffolding falls off again, and one just impales an orc because it falls off with such force. Fat orc gets crushed, okay? And something happens here as part of the falling of this tower. And if this was their plan, I can't believe it, right? The circumstances, the luck just is beyond parody. It's this stupid. Adar is just standing around, and are they trying to copy that scene in Return of the King where the Gondorians shoot Trebuchet, that big rock of stone, and the orc's there, and he just moves aside, lands, and he spits on it, right? Because, I don't know, he's much closer here, and you telling me he predicts where there's not just one stone, there's stone everywhere, and he predicts where all of it's falling. And look at this, right? The tower crumbles, and look at how it's crumbling. This is not just like something in the foundation was removed, right? It's actually crumbling at this point right here. Do you see right here? So that means this is actually built into the architecture. This tower was never made to stay up without being propped up by ropes and twigs, basically. It's just like, bull crap. Get lost. And so, yeah, look at how it crumbles right at that center point over here. Not the foundations. It just falls apart like there's nothing on the center that was holding anything. And then Adar, he's just like, you just move over here. One small thing, and he takes one step back. And he's like, look at all this crap falling down. And not one bull crap. And then we see a zoomed out shot of this tower falling. And see all the torches down over on this other end? All the way over here? So they're trying to say that most of this orc army is still coming up the mountain. Are you kidding me? Like they decided to separate their entire forces while they're assailing this tower, ready for a siege and attack, and they leave most of them halfway up the mountain? There was room, like, on the thing here to fit them on. And why are there so many over here and there's so few, down here going further up the mountain? Are you telling me that this was their plan? They thought, I'm sure Adar is going to leave most of his forces down the mountain. And so if we collapse the tower, most of the tower will fall off the mountain instead of in the Bailey and crush all of them. That's their master plan. And the amount of luck and circumstantial bullcrap that you need to rely on for that to just played out. What if the tower just fell, the other way, fell into the Bailey over here and nothing fell down the mountain? And You actually telling me that they gave up a really good defensible position? Like it's a small tower, but look at what they need to go through to get up to it. And the bridge line, it's missing a drawbridge, but even without a drawbridge, it bottlenecks the enemy really well. And it's really hard to assail this tower from other locations because it's basically on a cliff face. It's a sheer drop or a rise from behind. Like, it's nearly impossible to approach this tower from any other way than the bridge, which is also another important thing, because if there's only one main way to approach and leave this thing, that creates a massive plot hole that we're about to get to. It's just layers upon layers of dumb. So the show just arbitrarily set up that this is what the plan was all along. The army just wasn't going up the mountain, and then look at this. Like, most of the tower falls off the side and crushes. And when I say, like, they're trying to say that most of this army was destroyed, they showed, like, huge numbers in this orc army. We're talking in the thousands at least, all right? And the numbers that they're showing get crushed here is barely even 50. Like, look at this. There's not a lot, okay? And so my understanding while watching this is like, well, they got, maybe 50. There's still like 1,000 orcs or several thousand still around. But we'll get to that, because when they do attack, suddenly there's only like a couple hundred at most. So they do not pay attention to so much of what they show in previous episodes and compared to later ones, not just in terms of numbers and logistics, but also geography, time scale, and how much time oh my goodness. But no, the orcs just get completely crushed, and then it cuts away, and look how many orcs are left. They're like, most of them all going up the mountain. And so that's implying that this 1,000-strong orc army is still alive. And then we find out the villagers have somehow teleported. That's how, like, they're back at the village. How did they pass the orcs? Because remember, there was like only one pathway to get to the tower, and you always see the road there, let alone the road, the bridge. It was implied there was basically no other way to leave the tower, so how did they avoid the orcs, the orc army that was in front of them to get there? This is friggin' bullcrap! But no, they've just teleported back to the village, and it turns out that they're cheering like, oh, our plan worked, and their plan is now to use the village as their fortified defensive fallback point over the tower. They literally gave away a fortified tower, a fortified defensive position, in preference to an unfortified, dinky little village with the thatched roof cottages and things that could just be set on fire. I can't believe it, but that's what the show unironically is telling us what happened. And it's so bafflingly dumb because, again, that tower is actually decently designed in a lot of aspects. These numbers here, like, they didn't even need weapons, just get a lot of rocks, and there was rocks everywhere if they just all got rocks, right? And as the orcs try and... we didn't even see siege equipment or ladders that the orcs had, right? But if they tried that, they would have endless supply of rocks to just turf down and crush the orcs on number. And look, the smart thing the orcs would have done would be to just starve them out because they were so dumb they didn't even bring food there. Is that why they abandoned it? Because they knew they'd starve and they had food back in the village. Again, that's previous episode. But the astronomical stupidity that no one would bring any food at all when they're going off to hide at a tower for a prolonged siege for defense. This show hurts me. It's so dumb. And then this show has also demonstrated how quick it is to leave the tower and reach the village. We don't know when the villagers left, and so, the villagers might take long. But in a previous episode, we saw Theo leave, and it only took him like an hour to reach the village, if not less, okay? And so it's not a long journey. So the orcs that are still up at the tower, they're like, you got us. But the villagers all have, like, torches lit and lanterns. And so there's light at the village. I wonder who that is. It'll only take us half an hour to now. Let's go wipe them out. They're not behind defensive walls anymore. It'll be easy pickings. But the villagers are acting like, we just bought us an entire night and a day trying to think that these orcs They just can't travel in the daytime, even though the show has shown us them coming out at daytime, if not in direct sunlight, which they have also shown and contradicted, when it's overcast. And most of the day in which the villagers are preparing the village is overcast, and you're telling me the orcs will not travel and attack you, even when there's shade, when you've already shown them moving around in the shade during the daytime. This show is contradictory crap. We've skipped ahead because, of course, we're looking at the battle scenes and everything. The orcs have arrived, okay? This is the setup and beginning. And they're trying to say that, oh, they're so clever because they set up basically trash piles. It's not a proper palisade or barricade or anything like that, in front of the village. And that these orcs, they have to go over the bridge because the bridge into the village funnels them like the bridge on the tower. A couple of problems. First, if there's no other way to enter this village apart from across this bridge, which is actually not true when we see a zoom out shot of the bridge, but even if that was the case, why are you letting them cross uncontested? Why didn't you make a barricade on the other side and then have, cover positions to shoot arrows and everything on this approaching army? You're just letting them in, passing one of the supposedly most defensible parts of this location, and you're throwing it out the window for this really dumb trap that they try and spring. And they don't even probably spring it because the barricade that they want to trap them in has a massive opening, which I'll show you as we get there. Okay? But no, they're just crossing. Okay, so also, what? Are you telling me that the orcs suddenly can't just cross that tiny... I can barely see water in it. It's just like, oh, hop and I'm over. But really? This is guaranteed to funnel them? And there's forests on either side and we see how big the stream is. They could have approached from any other angle because the village doesn't have a wall around it. If they see barricades from this approach, it's like, all right, we'll just, hop over this tiny little stream and approach it from another side. And orcs, in canon, they don't seem to like water. There's barely any water in it. Okay, and so their plan relies on them lighting something, and she has trouble lighting it. It's like, okay, if it was so crucial in your plan to set something on fire, couldn't you have just a little candle ready to go that was covered behind things so it didn't reveal any light? So many of the problems that they've artificially constructed for tension in this just don't actually follow through. It doesn't give the tension that they want, because if there is an easy, obvious answer, instead of thinking, oh no, what's going to happen? You're thinking, why didn't they just do this other obvious thing? This is really dumb. And so, I don't know, do these orcs hear something? But anyway, this orc gets told to go up and have a look at the conspicuous thing standing out in the open. But I don't know, was there enough to make him warrant, I'll just go up and check this? And my goodness, are they lucky it was one of the orcs with a torch, because most of this, night is pretty well lit. You don't really even need torches. In fact, the way he's holding it, the torch would blind him more. Lloyd, Lindy Page, and myself have video on torches like this, and holding them out in front of you just will light blind you, and you need to hold it up like this or behind, and he's just... And so, with how bright the night is, you don't even need torches, as proven by the fact that so many people fight in this night without torches, and they can see perfectly well. Oh, but luckily he has a torch, because they can't light the thing. My goodness. And with how flammable this tar pitch stuff is, why don't they just do a trail of tar pitch all the way up, instead of putting it on a wagon that they're going to now, make travel down, which could easily be stopped? Or what if it rolled in the wrong direction and didn't land where you want to set the barricade on fire? So the orc jumps up on this this wagon, and where did they go? He doesn't look around, the side, he approached from one side, but he doesn't look around the other side. He just gets up, okay? And what happens here is, it's amazing. So basically, Bronwyn has a free shot. The orc is not aware of her. He's not facing her. She could attack him really anywhere. He's a little bit higher up, reach up. I'm sure he could get in the neck or something like that. Where do you think she strikes? Okay. In his foot. She had a free shot, and she goes to... Yeah, that's going to achieve a lot. What if the orc had a sword? He has at least a torch, and he just clubs you down after getting in his foot. Gosh. And anyway, he screams around. Oh, he does have a weapon. Took you long enough. Now he tries to strike down. But she... what is he aiming for? Wow! Wow! My goodness, no! Bronwyn is here, and he is striking all the way over here. This is like 2 meters. Just come off it! Oh, if you think I'm ranting a lot in this autopsy, can you see why? The amount of stupid in these combat tactics, fights, everything is just, it's unending. It's not this. I don't even think there's a single good moment. It just goes from stupid to stupid. So anyway, instead of actually aiming for her, he just jumps down, misses by a mile, kills this lady who just stands there. You saw him jump down, strike him, do something. She's standing there the whole time, and now she's just standing there, like, move back, do something. But no, she just stands there and gets killed. Okay. And look, she's not a trained soldier or anything like that. You can freeze up. Okay, I can maybe grant you that, but the thing is, there's another really, like, inexperienced, untrained woman who's actually killing orcs left, right, and center, and her response would be more realistic if I was like this lady, but no, it's Bronwyn, okay? She was a florist, but now she can just wreck orcs, and we see it right here. The orc, instead of slashing with his sword, he just waves his torch around and holds the sword back. It's like, okay, you were facing, you could slash and then follow up with a strike, but he's got a weapon, a sword, and he just slashed and doesn't strike with the sword. Bronwyn, dodges, and now is striking with the sword. And what? Okay, Bronwyn parries. There we go. It's almost looking like she missed. But dude, you were waiting there for a while. If you just slashed right away, you would have gotten it. But anyway, he slashes, she parries, and then look at this strike. It's this massive telegraph strike, but it's going to be the killing blow because she's amazing, and this orc is bafflingly bad. Look, and just slices his throat out, and sure, okay, the amount of just bullcrap we had to go through for her to get that kill, even though she had a free kill before. He jumps down, misses her by 2 meters, not kidding, about 2 meters, right? Hits nothing, and then has a free shot almost with his torch, and doesn't follow up with the strike afterwards, and then, gets parried and dead. And, lucky he had that torch because now she can light it on fire. And then the plan is to cut the rope that was holding it, uphill. And have you ever tried to roll something down a hill randomly? I have, when you have billy carts and things. Sometimes they just start to veer off. And you're like, they went in the wrong. So there's no guarantee that this is going to roll perfectly where you want it. But lucky for them, it does, okay? And I think it even kills an orc in the process. But imagine if it hit a rut and got stuck halfway down. But no, now the entire barricade is on fire. Interestingly enough, even the opening that they walked through to get in front of it, now there's no gap in the barricade at all, and they're trapped. Sure, what the orcs, when they move through the barricade over the bridge, is like, let's block our way, off that's with this stuff that's covered in pitch, right? And just so we can't leave if anyone sets it on fire. But, oh my goodness, this is dumb. And now, okay, so we see the other side of this barricade, right? So we see the fire in the background, and then in front, look at this opening. I'm standing in the middle of it. There's this big wide opening. And so if they set this, part on fire, they're not trapping the orcs, and they say that they try and block it with a wagon, but guess what? It doesn't block it. They just, move the wagon a little bit out of the way and just leave. Oh, so it's the second wagon that nails this guy. He didn't hear it approach, and this thing would be really loud, all right? And luckily, it lands exactly where they want, sets the other barricade on fire, but look over here. Do we see this opening right here? There's technically nothing there, but they CGI fire across it, but it's actually, if there's nothing there and only pitch and tar that's set the ground on fire, okay, step over it. It's a little bit of fire, and if you move quickly, it's not going to harm you at all, which is essentially what the orcs do. This plan is retarded. It doesn't do anything, okay? And they gave up a fortified tower for this crap. And so yeah, it's all on fire now, but we see from another angle that there's actually a big open gap. And then, this is amazing, their plan, while they have the orcs trapped, okay, is, they can't go anywhere now, and so it's to shoot them with arrows. It's like, okay, shoot them with arrows from areas in which you don't have full cover. Only two of the people have cover. Discount Legolas is one, but everyone else is just on top of rooftops. It's like, yeah, we'll shoot them. It's not like they have bows or arrows that could shoot. Oh, wait. Yes, the orcs have archers as well. And because they're on rooftops with no cover to, like if you were at a fortified tower perhaps, with crenellated battlements, you would shoot, between the merlons in the crenelle and duck behind the merlon for cover in between. But no, because you got no cover and you're on top of a roof, you're just going to get pinged off one at a time. And they don't have a lot of archers either. And there's 100 orcs that are trapped in this group. And you think, oh, you'll take out 100 of them with your, 10 archers? What's baffling, even if they say, we couldn't have defended the tower because we didn't have bows, but when we got back to the village, they made bows and arrows just in one day. And even swords, come off it. You didn't need bows and arrows to defend that. Just rocks and stones. Throw them down on people trying to climb up the walls, and it actually would have been really effective. And so they all just start to get wiped out. Who would have thought? Okay, and look at this. This is what's blocking the orcs from getting out of this amazing trap. See the handle on the cart? There's nothing else there. They could just move it aside. And instead of actually just moving aside the cart, which is on wheels, which would actually be really easy, the orc decides to kick the burning part of the barricade. But that gets knocked down pretty easy as well. And they just walk out! Great plan! So now, the orcs have left the barricade, and instead of going straight for the people shooting at them with, archers, right? Because it's pretty easy to get on top of these walls. Just fan out, get them from behind, wipe them out, all right? The orcs are taking the battering ram to the thing. You can batter down that flimsy door at any time. In actual fact, we find out it's not a very flimsy door. It takes them all night to batter this thing down a bit later. Gosh, that's stupid. But okay, we will forget about the archers shooting at us, and we'll take the battering ram to the door. And I know some of the orcs try and go after some of the archers, discount Legolas in particular, but what about the other ones? Look at the orcs, they're all travelling towards the tavern, not thinking about, could there be other kind of villagers ready to attack us, which is exactly what they have. Now the villagers are like, we gotcha! It's like, no. And what's really funny here, right, the orcs, they're about to be attacked by the villagers, right? And so they don't just drop the battering ram, they gently place it down. It's like, okay, it's because it's a prop and they would have broken it if they dropped it, right? Hey, look at this guy. It's a solid, spear thrust. I'll give it to him. He's the most trained warrior in this whole series. I like him. The orcs come in, and so basically we just cut to random, flailing around. Oh, there's a bit of a shield bash, a thrust, another thrust. Oh, that looked like it was in a, ouchy area. And then the elf guy is just shooting at things, and you would think elves have, good hearing. Especially with people climbing up the walls from behind. But no, look, suddenly there's orcs there, and elves with their great hearing. He didn't hear that? All right, sure. There's now orcs on the roof, which is good plan. Why didn't you send more orcs onto the roofs and other roofs that you're getting shot from? Instead, we have this, so what is this orc doing here? He's going in for a thrust, okay, and then, he deflects it with his bow, though. Good way to damage it. And then he hit, does he hit with the bow, or he get hit? Because he's reacting like he just got hit, but nothing hits him. That's odd. Okay. And then it cuts away. So the orc is in a position with his back to him. Discount Legolas seems to stab, but it's hard to see what's in his hand. I don't even see anything. Do you see anything in his hand? What is it? Hang on. There's nothing in his hand. Did they just all right, we'll get you to stab him out and we'll CG in a knife, and they don't CG in a knife and they just keep, what is he doing there? And it's like he got blocked, but there was nothing in your hand, mate. And now he's slapping him. What are you doing? I'll give you a pat on the back. Good job. I attacked you with a CGI knife that's not even there anymore. It looks like that they were trying to say that, I don't know, the knife got deflected. And I'm just like, good job. You got me. This is friggin' crap, man. And in this process, a chain got flung. Oh my goodness. So is that why they're trying to justify the slap? He's grabbing this orc's back because he's about to get pulled back. The thing is, though, there's no chain on him yet. He doesn't know he's about to get pulled back. So how does he know to grab the orc from behind? Because look at this. Now, a chain lands after he grabs the... So the choreography was, all right, you're going to get hooked, right? And as you get hooked, you'll grab onto the orc, so you have an anchor point to try and resist it, but you're going to get pulled anyway, and you're going to pull with him. And then when they do the CG effect later, they have the chain land on him after he grabs the orc like he just had ESP. You know, he could predict the future and he knew, chain coming. And also, that was an amazing shot of that chain. Look where it landed, okay? Right on the kind of inside collar of his clothing. If you had that good aim, freaking get it in that hook in his eye. I can't believe that. But no, perfect thing, just gets him on his clothes. So this orc that's pulling, okay? Watch what happens here. He just like pulls and jumps. You probably didn't need to put that. I know they're trying to say it was so much force that he overcommitted, but it looks like it's so dumb. It looks like he just jumps and goes with it. And then they all go tumbling down. And then something, all right, so look at this. The orc landed first. He gets up, okay, all right, just attack, just attack, Legolas is right there. Discount Legolas, sorry, that's insulting calling him Legolas. Oh, my goodness, right? Just attack him, go on. Hey, so, what? He jumps off screen to come in from that side to attack him anyway. What are you doing? Why did you do that? He was right in front. Just attack him right here! But instead, he literally runs to the side to come in and attack. What this really looks like, it looks like this orc, the stuntman, was supposed to have landed behind the camera and then come in from the side of the screen, that's where he happened. But because he landed in front, they were so incompetent they decided to keep it and have him just keep his movement the same, even though he's now in front of the camera, to run randomly off shot and then in shot again. It's bafflingly dumb. Like, let's just look at this. All right, your intention is to attack him. He's on the ground, but it's like, oh no, we've got choreography, even though it now just looks utterly ridiculous. I got to do what we planned out to do. And so he runs off and then runs in so Discount Legolas can start to get to his feet and block the attack. And then, so the choreography is that he uses the orc's own weapon and stabs him. It's like, okay, and then and sticks him right through. So you'll probably keep the weapon, right? Just to use. Did he just drop the weapon that he had? So he just kills that orc, drops the weapon, so he's completely unarmed now. Why would you do that? You're in a battlefield. And then there's an orc right here, and he's just standing there. Arendir, his back was to this orc the entire time. Why didn't you just kill him? Free shot, death. But this show just wants to make you believe the most unbelievable, baffling bullcrap, and then accepts you to cheer like it was wonderful. But no, he just walks back. The orc's just standing there doing nothing. And then, hang on, where's that orc's weapon? Why does he You're attacking a village! You're in battle warfare! And suddenly this orc doesn't have a weapon? And we know why, because if he did, Arendir would have been killed instantly because his back was to him. And so plot armor comes in and saves him. And whenever a protagonist seems to be under threat, suddenly the people attacking him just don't have a sword or a weapon anymore. Gosh, this show is going to break me. I'm not sure I've reviewed anything this bafflingly bad. Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, I don't know. This might take the cake. And so the orc, instead of, crushing him, getting him in a lock and everything, just throws him. And look how far he throws him. If that orc is that strong, he could just, break his neck. Get him in you could have easily, Arendir was moving back. Get him in a chokehold and break his neck. You're easily that strong. But no, just throw him so Arendir can get up and keep fighting. This is so dumb. I still can't get over the fact he has no weapon. Look at him. Not even a dagger. Pick up, look at all the wood planks everywhere. It's good stick. Stick very good. Bash him with a stick. But no, okay? Instead, he just walks forward and then they do this over flamboyant kind of choreography where Arendir, he dodges again, he does a back... What? What? Why are you hitting him on his breastplate with a backhand? don't have a knife, mate. You're unarmed. Hit him in the head. You had a free shot to just go a bit higher. What is going on? And then, oh my goodness. So, let's pay attention. Arondir's head about yay high. This orc's fist. Wow. Missed him by a mile. Arondir's head there. And the orc just purposely misses. Hit, and then Arondir switch to CGI. Jump. Big kind of kung fu kick. Does he even... He misses. He misses completely. What were you aiming for? The orc is... What? Arondir, mate, you're aiming here, and the orc is over here. This show is gonna break me, man. Like, look at that. Ah, come on. And then, okay, so he does dodge. Look, at least that shot looked like it had some power behind it. Big overswing, misses. It's still... And then Aaron, I'll just maybe call him Aaron. Aaron, there we go. Aaron goes for, like... Oh, now he actually lands a kick. Big spinning heel kick. And then he decides to stand there and get hit. Look, it's like his arms are low, but maybe raise your arm a bit. And just bang! Just like that. Doesn't even try and block it. Like, oh, come on. And when that happened, right, it's in our review on Night's Watch, I was just like, oh, he's gonna get Deus Ex Machina saved by the florist lady. It's so obvious. Yes, spoilers, it's exactly what happens, because he would only be struggling if someone is going to come from off-scene and do a jump kind of off-screen save, you know? It happened a lot in The Hobbit. And now, look at this. It's like, he just stood there for the hit and break his neck? No, just throw him again, because that's effective. Back to the regular fighting and just a bit flail around. It only kind of cuts to people hitting other people. We see no flow or movement in this battle where someone gets an advantage and they have to reposition or they try a new tactic. This is just pretty lazy. Like, oh, all right, go. I got you. Now cuts to another thing of someone killing something else, okay? And again, there's no larger kind of story being told in this. It's just random people fighting orcs, different shots. And we're back to Aaron here, and he gets pulled up. Gosh, this big orc has had so many free hits against him, and it's just not, like, how long does it take to kill this guy? Come on. You're getting dominated. Oh, man, Aaron picks up a twig again. He loves using, like, twig dagger things. He used it in a previous thing when they were fighting the orcs in the trench. And he just finds a convenient... But look, there were sticks around. I said orcs pick up a stick. He picks up kind of a stick, twig, and stabs him. Doesn't really do much. Stabs him again. Doesn't do much. Kicks out that foot from behind. The orc is just kind of flailing about. And then falls down. Stabs him in the eye. Okay, now, you know, the last fights in Autopsy got age restricted because I think it was because I showed Aragon chopping off one of the orc's heads. And this gets, like, unnecessarily gory with blood spurting out this orc's eye, and they hold it for ages, and it felt very not Lord of the Rings. It felt Game of Thrones. It felt out of place. And I mean, everything's out of place for Lord of the Rings in this show because it's not Lord of the Rings. It's proven by this excessive gore that they throw in. So I'm just going to cut past it because nothing important happens apart from, it's like, oh, will he kill that? We know he's not going to get killed. And yes, the florist lady comes in and saves him because plot armor. So this is where he's getting choked, but again, it cuts to the orc's eye with blood spurting out. But this is the desperate position he's in. And so after good old Aaron Face gets saved, now all the other orcs are dead. It was the thick of the fight. We didn't even see how they got the upper hand or the thinning of the numbers. Again, this fight has no story to it. It's just, now we have won. Yay. And when I was watching this, I was like, bullcrap. The orcs should have an army 3 times bigger than the one they put in. And that's being generous. No, they should have 50 times bigger. But no, and they do have a follow-up army, but the size of it, as you'll see, is pathetic. And, all right, so they show that a lot of the, enemies that were killed here were the villagers that went to go swear allegiance to the bad guy, and they're acting like it was shocked. They went to join the bad guy. What did you expect them to do? Just kind of odd. Like, this looks like a complete copy of like a Corinthian helmet, a Greek helmet. I mean, are they trying to make it look like the orcs are just low effort? Don't just copy directly. Add some type of thing that's supposed to be from Middle Earth. And so it turns out, there's another army of orcs waiting in the distance, and they start shooting on them. I was like, hang on, if the orcs had like heaps more numbers, why didn't they commit all their forces in this one attack? Because it looks like the village is barely won, okay? And so just commit all of them, and you would have wiped them out. And then doing this weird, like, we'll just send some of our forces, the villagers that joined us, and a whole heap of other orcs, by the way, make the fight and contest far more even, so we'll end up losing a lot more than what we probably, would have. And then attack a second time, because now they're kind of out in the open, and the villagers' plan was sprung. It's like, I think you would have just thrashed them, committing every, soldier, orc that you had. But, all right. Turns out, yes, there's more. Everyone starts to get shot. Oh, that guy. He was the guy with the spear. I liked him. Oh, a shield. Good idea. Why didn't a lot of them have more shields? When we were reviewing this on Night's Watch, we thought that she got shot twice. We played it back, and then we only see her get shot once, but we didn't go back far enough, because here, like, we see an arrow come in, and she reacts to that arrow like, direct. It hit her. She got hit by that arrow. She falls down, injured. Okay, she got hit once already. And then she gets hit twice in the shoulder, but there's a whole scene of taking the arrow out, and the one that hit her on the lower, it was a leg, foot, or something like that, that doesn't exist. It's only the thing here. Okay, I'm going to step out of frame just so we can see this clearly, right? Because we see Bronwyn's lower body, and like, there's no arrow anywhere here, and she clearly got shot by an arrow on the lower body to begin with, what made her stumble and fall. It's not even there anymore. They're also acting like the arrow through her shoulder is a mortal wound, and the amount of blood that spews out of it is like, again, seems excessive. Is there an artery in the shoulder that, like, I don't know much internal anatomy. Maybe there is, but even if it is, lucky shot or unlucky shot that it gets hit there. But anyway, lots of gore and blood in the taking the arrow thing. And then they cauterize it. It's like, they put seeds in front of the cauterizer. Like, are these special? I guess they're magic seeds. Sure. So more orcs come in, and I'm wondering, there should still be like thousands of them, but this is all that's left. Except when the Númenorians arrive. When the Númenorians arrive, suddenly a lot more orcs in here appear. And now, it's like, what? Are you telling me you just can't break down the flimsy door? And they have a battering ram. And if we break down the process of events, right? This is the night after they escape the tower. So a full day has passed. And so we would assume that the orcs would start the attack just a bit after nightfall, when it's fully dark. And the process of the battle, maybe an hour at most. Like, if you actually follow the course of the timeline, it's only a couple of minutes. But then they're now trying to break down the door. And they only get through, basically, when it's nearly morning, because that's when the Númenorians arrive. So you're telling me it took 6+ hours to bust down a flimsy flippin' door on an inn with a battering ram. Bull crap. But that's what the show expects you to swallow. And look, it breaks off the metal hinge. There's not much holding that thing shut. There's a stool blocking the door, and they can't bust it open with a battering ram. And suddenly, it's like it's morning. See the sun shining on the rocks over here? Now it's morning. It just suddenly, and Galadriel's here, the wonderful, unbeatable, perfect, excellent Galadriel. And it's just, they're trying to make, like an epic shot. But still, is there a need for you to be riding ahead of everyone? But holy crap, just look at how many horses there are. I don't expect all these horses fit on those 3 boats. It's like, the Númenorian ships, this is what they're actually designed like. And the horse armor looks as cheap as it did in the trailer, like it's been 3D printed plastic crap. Well, hang on, look at this horse armor. It's been painted. They actually did make it look better. And look at this. And then it's like, okay, so you had good horse armor. Why did you have the cheap crap in the trailer? I didn't even the finished shot. They had the cheap one where they literally have stuff that looks painted and it has some weather. It's half decent. Come off it. Oh my goodness. Big epic charge. Now, think about the logistics here, okay? Because we pointed out in the review, but still, they left Númenor, traveled across the sea, up a river channel, across a mountain range to get into Númenor in a day. I'm like, not kidding. Or 2 days, they say. But they say 2 days. The Queen says 2 days, but only like a day has passed or 2 days. Actually, so yeah, 2 days. Expect that. Come off it. No, they just teleport. And that, from Númenor to Middle-earth, is a long sea voyage. And then Galadriel she's pulling ahead because she's so much better. We see sunlight, so it's fully day now. It took them all night to bust through the door. And so now Adar has the sword hilt, but he can hear the rumbling. Does he know where the rumbling coming from? Not really, but okay, I think it's fair enough for him to be able to assume that might not be good. So he's like, this guy, I have a job for you. And we know what happens. He gives him the sword, and this guy seems to know exactly what to do. I don't know if they had enough time to tell him, but anyway, so that's how the sword gets to the keyhole. And the Númenorians are here, they're riding in, they trample an orc, and the orcs are just scattering and fleeing. But look at the time of... It's overcast daytime. Means, they also can travel in sunlight just with a hood on and stuff. And so you're telling me that when the villagers escaped the tower, the orcs spent a whole day, and it should only take them like half an hour to an hour to travel from the tower to the village, but they didn't try and travel in the rest of the nighttime, which they had heaps of time, and then during the daytime when there was lots of overcast, they still... And then we see them in... This show is contradictory crap. So Númenorians are all riding over the bridge, even though they could actually fan out, because look at the side of the bridge. A horse could easily, step over that. But anyway, they ride in and they start to skewer orcs. Sometimes it gets pretty bright out there, but the orcs are fine. Look at this. You know what the orcs could have done, which is really effective, okay? Which would nullify the advantage of the cavalry with the Númenorians. Retreat to the forests, the trees. It's much harder for horses to maneuver amongst trees and much harder to perform a mounted charge and everything like that. And you can actually stay behind a tree and block yourself from the horse and then jab and everything, use the tree as a shield. But, of course, the orcs are stupid, so they just get wiped out. Oh, the chain. So, do you see this chain that the horse riders have? Look how long it is, okay? There doesn't seem to be too much slack, and we even see this guy here holding it with 2 hands. And so it's not fixed to their horse, they're holding it with their hands, and it's, I don't know, like 3 meters long. And suddenly, holy crap, now it's like 5-6 meters long, and they're still going. This is a magically increasing chain. It just increases length. They're still holding it, and only now do they let go. And all these orcs just get knocked down. Look at this. Come off, bull crap. If any of these orcs just planted themselves and held against it, you would dismount the riders. They're not fixed, nailed into their saddle. But anyway, they just fall down like they're, feathers. It's such bullcrap. It doesn't look like, when it's so dumb, this doesn't look cool. It just looks stupid. And then we expect to believe that the chain is magically increased in length and then gets hooked in on one and just starts dragging one. And look at, now there is literal sunlight on them, but are they frying? We actually see them puss up, boil in sunlight. And this orc, direct sunlight, he's not frying at all. They're cured. It just cuts to random Númenorians fighting orcs with no actual flow story event structure. And so when it's just like this, without any flow, and there's no stakes, they're going to win. I don't care who's invested in this. He spins. Why did you need to do that spin? There's a guy coming, and he decides to spin and take it. Build momentum. Look, maybe I could forgive it because it seems to there's enough distance, but I don't like it. It's on the fence though. Spin slashes. Oh, even Theo's getting in on it. Killing someone else. Oh, Theo, you picked up an orc sword and you're using it? That's a good idea because Aaron, he actually stabbed an orc with an orc sword and then just dropped him and let himself be disarmed. You're smarter than him. But of course, Galadriel, she can't be shown up. No. This is the moment. It's been memed endlessly on the internet, and they're rightfully so. Because it's so dumb. The best part of this scene is actually the orc, because he's doing a Mongolian draw on the arrow. So look at this. He's got it in between his fingers. Like this is a talented orc right here. And then he pulls back, and it looks like oh no, he's not wrapping his thumb around it. Okay, so it's not actual Mongolian thumb draw. He's just using 2-finger draw. But the arrow's on the outside. Hey! I have a whole saga on this channel about this is actually very possible, viable technique. And so, anyway, good props to him. But important, right? How long it takes him to draw the arrow, knock it, and hold it there, okay? This is actually a very quick draw. This orc is a talented archer, right? Look at this. Bang! Ready to go. That is fast! And so just think about how many arrow shots he could get off after he looses this first one. In fact, how about we clip this shot here, okay, and then put it on replay in the corner after he looses it to see how many shots he could have gotten off before Galadriel closes. So beginning now, he shoots, Galadriel is onto him, and then we've got to talk about this exploding orc. But I think he could have at least got another shot off, if not 2. And Galadriel, right? You dodge the first one by hanging upside down. Would you be able to dodge the other one in that position? And it's so unnecessary. It's one of the most awkward, stupid things ever, because she does it to dodge. I was like, all right, just hang off the side a bit or something, right? You didn't need to jump off the horse and then hang upside down to put you in one of the most awkward positions to attack someone from. And what she does as well, she's hanging upside down and she has a sword like this, and this is so it's bad for a number of reasons, okay? So I'm riding forward, okay? If you're moving forward and you attack forward as you go, you can use the momentum of the horse to increase the power of your strike. If you are moving forward and you're attacked backways, it reduces the power of the strike to the point where if the horse is moving fast enough, it's like the sword doesn't actually move any distance at all and wouldn't even cut them. And so this is the first big flaw about what she tries to do here, because by her angle and way she's hanging, her attack is actually a backwards attack. It's cutting inwards as she's moving forwards, which would reduce the power of the strike significantly. But that's just ignoring the fact that she's so far away that the sword wouldn't even reach the orc. Let's go slowly and I'll show you. But on top of it, she's put herself in a horrible position. If that orc just kept shooting, she'd be a pincushion. And that orc had more arrows and is a fast draw. But okay, so just hangs there for ages. It's so unbelievable. And as she passes, right, look, the sword, okay, I actually think that they do exactly what I say. Because the horse is moving forward, the sword motion, okay, doesn't actually travel anywhere. So pretend I am trying to kill this orc as I'm coming forward and I'm trying to do like a backward strike. So I'm striking in, and so I'm traveling. Hopefully we can see the sword. I'm traveling forward and I'm trying to strike it as I pass, and my sword barely actually chops through the orc as a result. That's exactly what's happening here. The sword, holy crap. The sword has already passed the line of the orc. You know, she's beyond it, okay? And then she just brings it up, and there's no way that sword could touch the orc from a swing, but also distance. Look at how close this orc is compared to where Galadriel is, all the way behind. And so the sword doesn't even touch him, let alone swing with enough force to strike or cut anything because of the motion of the horse. And then he just explodes! Come off it! Bull crap! Oh, it's such astounding crap. And we're supposed to just swallow this. It's like, yeah, get out of here. And it's so unnecessarily over the top because they're so desperate to make Galadriel look cool. And she's already unbelievably unlikable. And when you have crap like this, where she's does over-the-top, unnecessarily flamboyant stuff, just makes it look like she's showing off, and then on top of all that, it's also stupid and impractical and would never work in real life. Come on. Rey jumping over the TIE fighter and chopping off the TIE fighter wing is actually better than that, and that's awful cringe, and it's still better than what we just saw. I just can't believe it. And then that's like one of the few big things Galadriel does, okay? This guy, why did he fall off his horse? Did I miss that? What is his plan here? Does he not have a sword? Where's his weapon? He's unarmed, and so he decides to tackle an orc while riding past it. You know what could have worked really well? Trampling it. If you don't have a weapon, you still have a horse, just run him over. But instead, he opts to jumping off his horse and tackling him. And guess what? You don't have a weapon. What's your plan now? Ducks under the other one. Oh, now he picked up an orc sword. Good plan, you idiot. What, Nathan, did you notice something?
But he's got swords on him.
You're right! What are you doing? You have two swords! You have a sword and a dagger right there! And you chose to tackle someone unarmed, you bleeding astronomical moron! What are you doing? I'm done, I'm broken! This thing has killed me! Come on! I can't believe that! This is as bad as in Batman and Robin, when the security guards attack Mr. Freeze and they have guns on their belt and they don't draw their guns and they just... It's that level of stupid. Oh my goodness. That one hurts. I hurt myself. I'm not sure I can get through this, guys. Stay with me. We can do it. Upon further inspection, this is also a continuity error, because when he jumps off the horse, he actually doesn't have any swords on his hips, but when it cuts to him fighting on foot, there are swords on his side, which he doesn't grab and he keeps using the orc weapon he picked up. So this guy swings down at an orc, okay? And the orc blocks it, seems to be with his hand, but he has a sword in his other hand. We see it right there. And so what does he do after he blocks? He, free shot, you just blocked it, you've disengaged his sword, nullified it, and so you're blocked with that arm, just swing it, free shot, he's dead. Instead, he grabs him and... Look, we see the sword right here. Okay, see the sword? And so he even moves the sword in. Oh, my goodness. Ready? He even moves the sword in, and it's pressed on his back. He does. And you're like, that's free shot. This guy would be dead, but instead of actually stabbing him or striking, he just decides to grab with his other arm. And pull him off. And then, the orc isn't intended to kill him, because then the orc just starts to hit down in the exact same motion again and again. And he keeps doing it. And this guy's like, oh, I'll save you. And we cut back. And the orc is still, he's still doing it. Instead of swinging down, I don't know, stab. He's sort of, there's so many things you could do from that position. But the orc is so dumb. It's just like, this isn't working, but I'll keep going. Oh, the amount of bullcrap that they have to try and do to justify the cool moments. And the cool moment is they want this guy to do an epic save. It's like, you really couldn't have thought up anything logical, anything consistent, anything cool, actually cool, workable to justify the moment you want. But that's a hallmark of this series, right? There are these moments that they want, and they have no talent to get there logically or in an interesting way. And so they just force ridiculous, contrived crap to get the moments that they want, which one, undermines the moments, doesn't give us any investment in it, makes us think it's stupid, and then those moments are also dumb most of the time anyway. And the guy comes in and slashes the orc and gets him. And then he gets a stab. So the queen has an honor guard of all these soldiers. Hang on, honor guard? why is Isildur there? Because he was supposed to be a stable hand. If he was going to sleep the same, like, why is he part of the Queen's protection? And then she's like, yeah, you can go. But what about everyone else? If there's your own men that are struggling and you can see that you're in a safe spot, send a couple more down, send them all. But no, just like this one guy. Yeah, that'll be a decisive addition to the battle, sure. But of course they did it because Elendil, his father, is fighting and they wanted a moment where, subvert, it's not Isildur that saves him, it's Halbrand. Who's definitely not someone that, evil, right? Look at this. This orc jumps up. Suddenly, this orc has no weapons. Like, this is inexcusable at this point, because already heaps of people have been died, both Númenorians and orcs, and if you don't have a weapon, you know what the first thing you do is? You'd grab a weapon from one of the fallen people. There's no, it's inexcusable that someone would just continue a fight unarmed at this point. But no, this guy's unarmed, and he jumps on Elendil's horse, and if he had a weapon, Elendil would be dead. And so again, plot armor, right? It's like, he's a protagonist. Or just not only this guy though, right? And then, hold on, there's another 2 orcs, we're up to 4. And are you telling me each one of these orcs don't have a weapon? But no, that's right, like plot armor through the roof. And they're just, trying to, hump the horse? Just pull the horse down. Maybe if you had a weapon, you just could have stabbed it. Oh my goodness, this is unforgivably bad. It's amateur hour. Just for the budget of this show, this is completely unacceptable, the quality that's here. Oh, now an orc has a weapon? But all right. Like, the only reason why they've given this orc a weapon is because you know that someone is going to come in and save him, because if this orc was going to pose a threat, he wouldn't have a weapon and they'd tussle and wrestle. And of course, yep, he gets speared. But you thought it was his son? Yeah, it's Halbrand. Oh, look at that. This is an interesting moment. Look at this, right? So, Aaron guy, he goes for a thrust, misses the thrust because the orc dodged, but then he comes in and follows up with a cut, a draw cut. It's like, so that means after you thrust, you can follow up with a slash or a draw cut, something like that. If one of the Númenorians did that against Galadriel in the training scene, she'd be dead. But of course, plot armor. This Galadriel done nothing else apart from that hang upside down orc exploding thing. Man, big help, Galadriel, but I don't know. By the way, it's like, I don't know. What is holding there? It doesn't look axe-shaped. Because what we find out that, he gave the sword hilt to the peasant guy, right? And he hides an axe, and so there's an axe in there. But no, there's not, because it's clearly not axe-shaped. An axe has a very distinct shape that you'd be able to tell very clearly. So if they expect you to swallow crap. They think you're idiots, and that you'll just, clap. Oh, pretty fancy pictures. I loved it when Galadriel did the thing. Adar rides off. Galadriel, goes to follow, and I won't go through the entire scene because, I'll show you some, because the whole thing is structured that Galadriel's chasing after this guy at full gallop, okay? And discounts. Totally not Sauron. Halbrand. Oh, look, she dodges again. Can she just not dodge anything apart, without dismounting? Okay. And anyway, so she rides off. Halbrand's fighting, and he sees Galadriel ride off, and so Halbrand is a good clip behind him, and he follows after. And Galadriel is riding at such a pace to catch up to this guy. She even pulls out a spell, magic. Look, we know in the greater context Galadriel has magic, but the show is not showing any of this. In the context of the show and what the show has established, this is bullcrap. She just pulls out magic out of her ear end. Suddenly she knows magic with no justification, no setup, no explanation, and she whispers something to her horse, and her horse could just run twice as fast. And so Galadriel is only able to catch up to Adar by pulling out a magic spell, and then we're expected to believe that Halbrand gets in front of them? Bullcrap! But of course we know who Halbrand is, so maybe he just casts a teleportation spell and gets there. Look at this, they're just riding full gallop, okay? In a straight line almost, and now suddenly he's in front. How the hell did he get there? okay? And then, he trips the horse, okay? There's a number of things you could do to just make this more believable. One, you could jab the spear into the ground or have him, fully swing and whack the horse's legs. He just kind of places it in front of the horse, and the horse trips over. Now, I don't know, it looked like there wasn't enough force to knock it over. I don't think horses are that unstable, but hey, horse expert, let me know in the comments below. Maybe this could do it. Just a small knock could throw it off balance. But anyway, it's all bullcrap how it's set up, because how did he get there? And that's most of the fighting, but we're also analysing the battle tactics and strategy in this episode, because there's one last thing that we need to talk about, which is a part of Adar's whole plan here, okay? And it's in regards to the sword and the key. So we know that the sword isn't actually in this package, but when we see it, this is not the shape of an axe. So they're so desperate to misdirect you that they'll even, do bullcrap and not have it reflect what it'll really look like. And so now the axe is in the cloth, and look at the odd shape this has. Do you see how the top end protrudes significantly, almost like it's an axe head? And on our review, I wrapped up an axe and gave it to Nathan just to test if he could figure out what it was. You're telling me that no one, as soon as they picked it up, wouldn't be able to tell instantly, not just from the shape, because the sword hilt had a very distinct shape. It had a weird crossguard with things that protruded outways, and this would be flat. It's a flat axe. It doesn't have any of the crossguard outwards protrusions, so you'd tell just from the shape. And then the weight distribution, an axe has a very different distribution to a broken sword hilt. As soon as you pick that thing up, you'll know it's not in here. What have you done with the sword thing? And no, the show actually wants us to believe that no one figured it out, and not even this kid. And it's only when he unwraps it look at the shape. It's just and yeah, only when he unwraps it does he see it's an axe. Wow. My mind is blown. The misdirect. Shut up, show. I refuse to act as stupid as you think the audience is. And we cut to this guy. This guy has the sword all along. And look, we actually see the keyhole thing. That thing was there the whole time. And Aaron Del Elf person, right? He's like, it's a key. Key to what? I don't know. But there's a mural with the sword right there, and there's a key slot underneath. You said it's a key. What does it go to? Maybe that thing right there. It's pretty obvious. But what this thing does is unbelievable, okay? Because this is an evil swordy thing, right? And this mural, what is implied here, was made by Sauron. Sauron made this thing, and the function of what turning the key does. So he puts the key in the slot, turns it, things start to rumble, and all right, rocks are moving. Okay. Wow, even the stone shakes and stuff. This must be really crazy big, right? It opens a spillway? Is that it? This is just like a dam when it gets over capacity and just opens all their spillways to let out the overflow. And that doesn't cause flooding or anything like that. So sometimes it does, actually depends on the level. But still, just briefly open. And then hang on. So Sauron made an evil mural thingy everything, and a sword that requires blood sacrifice to use open a spillway on a dam? I mean, that's actually a really appropriate normal function of a dam, to have something like that. And he decided to make it this evil sword hidden key thing. And if anyone tries to say, no, it's to send the water into Mount Doom to set Mount Doom going off, okay? Sauron has been doing this for at least several hundreds years, okay? Because we know the context, the map, his plan to gather in the Southlands was revealed on the map to send orcs there, and Galadriel saw that mark, which is the map, on her brother, which died before her quest to find Sauron, which she literally said took centuries. Plural, more than one, at least 200, but it could actually be 1,000 years. And so even after 200 years, Sauron didn't complete the connection of the water to Mount Doom in that time. No. Okay? There is no connection between this dam and Mount Doom, so much to the point that Adar needed to dig an entire series of tunnels to funnel the water to Mount Doom, which meant the original function of this dam was to never send water to Mount Doom. What is its function then? Literally to open a spillway. That's it. And it's this evil, maniacal, one ring-like sword thing to open a spillway on it. Do you see how unbelievably dumb and ridiculous this is? But the show is trying to betray that this was the plan all along, right? I was honestly expecting like the sword thing would open up a doorway or a tunnel that Sauron had made that led to the bowels of Mount Doom where some evil experiment or something was set up, right? He made that there, and the elves discovered it, built the tower to block it, to protect it, that no evil bad thing would be able to open up this door. And that was me just thinking that would be the obvious answer. To come up with an answer this dumb takes unique talent, especially when they did it unironically. They thought this was really good and smart, good enough to be in the final show. I'm speechless at how stupid this is. But we're not there yet, because now the show wants us to believe that this causes Mount Doom's eruption. Let's talk about that. So all this water is let out, and it just is following a natural river course. But then it starts to seep down like dug tunnels. And so the water now bursts out of these tunnels that the orcs have made. And that's like insane pressure. That, all right, I'll give you that. Still think it's a bit too much pressure, especially with the different like pathways that the water would naturally flow. It's not all flowing in the one direction. The orcs use these tunnels to get to villages and things like that, and they seem to be all interconnected. And look, this is the pressure that the water is flowing through. That's actually not a lot of pressure, okay? It's actually just filling up a tunnel with a little bit of water. And then we see that all the tunnels are interconnected, flowing into the trench. This was the purpose of the trench. But hang on, they already established that they were digging to find something, the sword hilt, but now they weren't. They were digging a trench. Which one is it? Because either way, it's really dumb. But no, it's a trench, and it's to funnel all the water. And look, it's knocking down the covering that they had. But okay, so if the purpose was the trench, why did you like turn everything else into a hellscape, knock down all these trees and everything? It really seemed to imply that it was the orcs that did this, and this isn't just a natural part of the landscape. Like maybe these are sulfur, something that's connected to the thing. But the implication is the orcs did this, and you're telling me the elves didn't see that from a mile away? Because if their intention was to dig a trench, why'd they wipe out their landscape with it? They didn't need to do that. In fact, having canopy to block the sunlight would have been really useful, because orcs don't like sun. The orcs actually burn in sunlight in this, which is not true. Like the actual canon, they just don't like it. They don't actually burn. And then we see, that's Mount Doom, okay? And so there have been some people actually claiming that this would unironically cause an eruption, which is bullcrap because of what we see right here. We see an open, unpressurized cavern. Why is this important? Because the only way water can actually cause an eruption is if the top of the volcano is sealed and the water seeps in from the water table underneath. And so, when you dig down, you can find a well. There's enough water in the water table that seeps in, okay, underneath the sealed volcano. What happens? The water turns to steam. Steam expands, and it's pressure, specifically explosive pressure, that can cause an eruption like this. If there's nothing to seal that pressure in, the steam will just escape, and there's no eruption. And also, the water needs to get in underneath the top of the volcano to burst it up. This is water falling down on top of lava, okay? And so not only would you not get explosive expansion because there's no pressure, the steam would escape, and what this would end up doing is just solidifying the top layer of lava and seal the top and prevent an eruption. Far from causing it, it would actually do the opposite. But the show wants us to believe that It's just, I don't know, insane nuclear TNT water that just explodes when it lands, causing one of the biggest, most destructive volcanic eruptions I've seen in media. I think the only thing that beats it is those destruction movies. Is it 2012, where they have everything destroys? There's an eruption that's even bigger, I think, in that one. But it's insane, the level of this. And they want us to believe, right? That is the water. Like, I've seen lava flows flow into the sea, okay? And all it would do is lots of steam and solidify it. But there's a nuclear explosion that happens! Ah, get lost! Bull crap! No way! No way! That's how that works. But evil magic, but they don't portray evil magic. They're trying to show that this is an actual natural scientific, result of pouring water into an open volcano. Get lost. It is so dumb. And then it's capped off by something truly ridiculous. This is what they show. This is like insane. What they're showing here is basically the biggest, most destructive pyroclastic flow that you could get, as if it was farted out of the devil's own anus. It is that insane, okay? It is so insane that you see lightning strikes and everything happening in it. And, I mean, you know how that works is because there's so much friction that it creates so much insane static electricity that it has its own friggin' weather system, all right? It is that hot. And are they showing it's hot? Well, look at the friggin' glowing fire behind that smoke, okay? A pyroclastic flow, on average, has between 800 degrees Celsius or 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit in heat. It fries everything in its path. You heard of Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius and how people died in the very poses that they had as that thing hit? They, like, instant vaporization, and they got solidified in those positions because it's instant friggin' death. And this is like that times 100. And we're expected to believe Galadriel survives this because she walks headfirst into it. Look at this thing. It is so hot, it bursts the buildings on fire before it even reaches them. Look at this building, okay? It's already on fire, but then it gets like the smoke approaches, and it gets engulfed in flame because of the heat on this thing. This is insane. Like, we actually see the fire and embers and crap on the inside of that pyroclastic flow. And Galadriel, she's like, it'll be fine, right? She is such an insane, unbeatable, awesome that she just smacks it to the face, and that's the episode. But we know she survives because we see her covered in Cheeto dust in the previews for the next episode and also the trailer. Bull crap! Don't even try it. No, everyone's dead. That's the last episode of Rings of Power. Everyone died. Sauron won. And it's truly a happy ending because it brought an end to this friggin' abomination of a show. Something that desecrates Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. My goodness, this is utter crap. But there we go. We're at the end of Battle Scene Autopsy. I hope you have enjoyed. Hope to see you again. Until that time,